Hey, I'm Randy and I'm the Cheap Audio Man. Here at the Cheap Audio Man, we don't feel like hi-fi equipment. Speakers, DACs, amps, turntables, receivers, headphones. Headphones should cost more than replacing the roof on your house after a freak hailstorm. And these don't. What are they? They're the Emotiva headphones. They only have one. So go to Emotiva's website, hit headphones, and it'll show up. But it's the GR1. So sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and let's talk about the Emotiva GR1 headphones. Today's sponsor is Mosin Nagant's bayonets. When you need a replacement bayonet for your antique Russian rifle that shoots a big old round and hurts you with the recoil, get some Mosin Nagant's bayonets. You can buy them by the truckload, the pound, or individually. And they still work. They get you when you walk by, because if I had a nickel every time I walked by my Mosin Nagant bayonet and I cut myself, I could go buy another Mosin Nagant. This is so stupid. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about the Emotiva GR1 headphones. Look how pretty they are. They're made out of wood. Okay, there we go. You can see the wood. They have vegan leather headbands. Look at that. Look at my fingers. Been doing some staining on speakers. Yeah, and a nice headband. And it's really cool on the bottom and like perforated. It's got an L and an R, just in case you don't know which way it goes. I've had some experience with headphones because when this whole crazy thing started with staying at home all the time, I went down a rabbit hole. Well, that rabbit hole is called headphones. Got a whole bunch of them. So a bunch of headphones from Monolith, the M1060, the M570, I still have the 570s, M565, I still have those. The Dan Clark Aeon RT closed back. It's the retuned version of the first generation Aeon when it was Mr. Speakers, which is kind of ironic because it's just headphones over there. I got two V-Moda headphones. They're not very good. Odyssey LCD1, I had those, returned them. Meze 99 Classics, they're a fantastic headphone. The Audio-Technica M50X maybe, very good. I know some people don't like it, but I do. The AKG 361, that's a closed back. Hi-Fi-Man Sundaras. I think that's it. These are a graphene driver. What is graphene? Apparently it has a unique atomic structure of carbon, or something like that. Let me read it to you. Graphene is a high-tech type of carbon with a unique atomic structure that can enhance the strength and improve materials' dynamic characteristics in specific applications. And hopefully one of those applications is making headphones drivers, and it is because they're really good. Unique atomic structure. I think most things have a unique atomic structure, isotopes and all that. Okay, so they have vegan leather ear pads with memory foam in them. Listen, I had cattle growing up. I showed them for 4-H. That's right, I was in 4-H. And we also had them to slaughter them. We didn't slaughter them, they were slaughtered. And then it was made into delicious hamburger and leather. And I got to tell you, all the cows we had were vegan. They ate grass and corn. Not one of them was an omnivore. Not one of them was a carnivore. All vegan. All the time. So, why headphones? The majority of my reviews or videos are based upon speakers, amps, DACs, stuff like that. I don't review many headphones, although I have reviewed some headphones. Why headphones? Because it's different. Some people maybe are in an apartment and they can't really turn up their 15-inch SVS sub or Emotiva sub, SC12 or something like that. So they need something. One needs something that's not going to bother the neighbors. Get some headphones, some open back headphones. Also, everybody knows, not everybody, some people know that when you have a system in a room, there can be issues with the room not being perfectly optimized for music. Enter headphones. And also, it's fun just to have a different experience. And every time I put on headphones, I immediately remember why I love headphones. It's just a different experience. It's very much intimate. Obviously, it's right against your head. But it's different from the standpoint is I don't get the traditional soundstage and imaging. It is it's a cool experience. I hear things that I don't normally hear or always hear with speakers, unless they're really, really good speakers. Okay. So how do these sound? Well, I listened to 2 tracks critically. I've had these for a while, and so I've listened to them on a lot of tracks. But the first track was Pet by A Perfect Circle. And it comes in with a big anyway, the initial percussion on that is awesome. Like, so that you have the initial intro, whatever you call it, and it's very palpable. And then he's just doing some slow, like, quarter notes on the hi-hat. And the hi-hat's just a bit open, okay? And it's, but it's not like super open with the cymbals. It's just, and after that song gets into the meat of it, anyway, the percussion on that song is sublime. Everything's separated. Everything's really good. Eulogy by Tool. I like that song. It's a slow burn for like the first 2 minutes, and it's layer upon layer upon instrument, and this slow crescendo, and then the guitar comes in, and it's just like, it'll get you. And these headphones kind of surprise me. And another thing is they're open back, right? So I'm kind of always like, are the kids doing something over my shoulder? And no, they weren't. It's just because I'm listening to some really good open back headphones. Anyway, some people have said in the comments that I don't listen to good music or audiophile music. If you listen to Eulogy by Tool and you don't think it's an audiophile song with intricate layering and air and complexity, then you can take a shovel and you can go out to a sand pile and you scoop it and then put it into a bag and then pack it down real tight and then cinch up the bag. You can pack sand if you don't think Eulogy by Tool is an audiophile song. So I listen to these with my amp. They're very high efficiency. They're 106 dB, so you can drive them off a phone. So if you have a phone like one of the VG or LG V something or others that they don't make anymore that has like really good DACs, you can drive the heck out of them with your phone. You can hook them up to any phone with a 3.5 millimeter, or you can use the Lightning to 3.5 millimeter. But I think you get the most out of them with an external DAC. So I listen to them with my normal little buddy here, the Ear Studio M100 Mark II. Actually, they're still hooked up. And then also I listen to them on, I about broke one of the tubes on top. The X Duo MT604? Yeah, 4. It's like 2 602s packed together. All right, it's balanced. It's balanced on the back and it's balanced on the front. So I listened to it with the M300, SMSL M300 DAC running into it balanced, and then I listened to it balanced out because the Emotiva are 2.5 millimeter. Oh, let me get this in focus. They're 2.5 millimeter on the bottom, and so they're separate. So that's how Hi-Fi-Man does most of their headphones, and I already had a XLR 2.5 balanced cable, so I just plugged it in, and guess what, it worked. Also, all the monolith, or most of the monolith headphones have the 2.5 millimeter input. Okay, when I ran it balanced, yes, it sounded better. A little bit more clarity, a little bit more power, a little bit more juice, a little bit more dynamic range. It was good. So if you can, run it balanced. Also, the Ear Studio M100 Mark II also has a balanced connection, and it's a 2.5. So you can get a 2.5 to two 2.5s and run it balanced off the Ear Studio M100 Mark II. The reason why I listen to it through the Ear Studio is because it has a 10-band parametric EQ. And I can mess with it, and when I mess with it to get it sounding the way I like it, then I can kind of tell what's going on with it. These have a slight elevation in the lower mids and bass. So I brought down, and I'm talking slight, so I brought down 250 by about a dB, and I brought down 500 by about a dB. And then I brought up 4K by about a dB. I noticed that I wasn't getting the detail I wanted out of vocals, and bringing that down just a little bit kind of kept the bass from kind of bleeding over to the bottom of the mids. And then bringing up 4K, if you have a big enough Q factor, which is how wide your EQ is, it brings it up at 2K, kind of right at the top of voices, without having to bump 2K, because then it's a little bit too much for me. All right, so I would say these are a bit elevated in the bass and then pretty flat. So a bit elevated and then flat. Highs are very good. They're very clear, and they're overtly clear. Like the Headphone and Sundaras are like clarity monsters, and they're great, but they don't have very much bass. The Meze 99 Classics are more laid back, and they're great, but they don't quite have the clarity. So I feel like the Emotivas fall right in the middle between the Meze 99s, and I know that's a closed back, and the Headphone and Sundaras, kind of right in the middle. And that's a good sweet spot for me, because you don't have too much clarity, so maybe recordings that aren't done perfectly are still going to sound good. And it's not too warm that you're not getting the detail that you want. If you're just getting into headphones, I think this is a great place to start. Now, granted, if you're listening to them in bed next to your significant other, they're going to ask you why your music is so loud, because they're open back. And I was listening to open back headphones in bed with my wife one night, and she's like, "Why is the music so loud? Or you're gonna kill your hearing." And I'm like, "It's not that loud." She's like, "I can hear every note." She didn't say every note. She's like, "I can hear everything." Sorry, I lied to you. And I was like, "Well, they're open back." And she's like, "Well, that doesn't make any. Why would you want open back headphones? Aren't headphones meant to keep it like so other people can't hear you and be disturbed by your music?" And like, I couldn't falter. I'm like, okay, you're kind of right. But to us audiophiles, open back headphones are the norm. So if you're just getting into headphones, I think this is a great place to start. They're $299, so they are by no means inexpensive. But I think they play with the Dan Clark Aeons RTs, which are $500. I think these play with the Sundaras, the Headphone and Sundaras, which are $350, which to me actually sounded better than the Sennheiser HD 800S, which is like $1,700. Anyway, I think these are not as detailed as Sundaras, as I said, but they're good. They're very, very good. Great entry into headphones. I'm not going to say entry-level headphones, because $300 is not entry-level to me. I think it's a great way to dip your toe into the headphone world if you're not already. And if you are in the headphone world, it's a very good middle-of-the-road headphone that sounds great, is built very well, and is not too much of anything. It's just a whole bunch of goodness. A whole bunch of everything. It's not too warm. It's up Goldilocks. It's Goldilocks headphone. So if you want to support the channel, you can by signing up for Patreon. It's patreon.com/cheapaudioman. Every Sunday night we have patron-only Zooms. They're a lot of fun. We get together and we talk about all sorts of stuff for an hour, 2 hours, however long we want to. Every Sunday night. We also have a patron-only Facebook group. We also have patron-only content. I posted up a video about a DAC. That was really good. It is really good. You can also buy these headphones through the affiliate link that's going to be in the description. I get a small commission off that affiliate link, but it doesn't cost you any more. Emotiva sent me these, but they didn't tell me to say anything about them, okay? So this is just my opinion. They're really good. I like them. They're they're kind of my go-to when I get to listen to open back headphones. Right. You can also sign up for Amazon HD Music. Click on the link in the bottom. And you used to have to sign up for HD, but I think everything's HD now. So just sign up for Amazon Music Unlimited. It's like $7 a month if you have a Prime account, or $10 if you don't. And you get high definition music, high res music included in it now. Okay? So don't binge watch anything on Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max. Binge listen through your new Emotiva headphones and maybe the Ear Studio M100 Mark II or the X Duo MT604 balanced headphone amp, and fill your soul with happiness. And with that, I'm Randy. I'm the cheap audio man.